This morning I woke up and checked my analytics for YouTube, and I was more excited about my video hitting 7 views than my other video hitting 120 views overnight. And both of these were just as excited as I was when one of my other videos hit like 1 million views across platforms. So often when people start their journey, or even as they keep going, they attach so much of their self-worth onto these arbitrary metrics. Are the view counts going up? Are the subscriber counts going up? Is the money going up? But this can lead to huge detriments if they become the pure focus. It's the reason so many YouTubers have got into scandals maybe like 5 years into their career, because they've seen so much return. The more I do this, the more the numbers go up. The more I do this, the more money I make. So they keep doing more and more of it with less and less supervision and oversight. And eventually they go too far and their empire crumbles because they were using these numbers to value their self-worth and sense of success. So why for me does it not really make a difference internally whether I get 7 views or I get 1 million views on a video? I mean, the short answer is I've been doing this for so long, I've posted thousands of pieces of content, that at some point, I don't have the energy to care anymore. People are like, here's the recipe to success. There is no recipe to success. Everyone backtraces what they did and say, you need to do that too. But that path no longer exists. So instead, you just have to do your thing, do as well as you can at the thing, make the best art you can, produce the best video you can, create the best business you can, and in the end, it's up to the customer or up to the viewer whether they're interested in that. But that is not a metric you can control. When people say, I want to set a goal for this many subscribers by the end of the year, it's meaningless because you have zero control over that. The only thing you have control over is like the daily vlog era is probably the best example. I'm going to try and post a video every single day. I'm going to make it as interesting and as good as I can, because that is something you can control. You cannot control how many views come off the back end of it, how many people take value from that content, how much money comes in at the end of the day. The only thing you can control is your production and your output. Especially now as subscribers has become really a vanity metric. Back in the day when YouTube was first coming up, subscriber count probably reflected more of like an RSS feed where it's like, this is the sort of stuff I want to see more of. Like you sign up to a newsletter or you're waiting for the next podcast episode. What you are following is what you will see. However, over time, it started becoming more algorithmically generated, because if you just show what people are already following, then that's the only things that will ever come up, and it is possible for new people to come through the ranks. So you need an element of that algorithmic push there to find the hidden amazing gems that are just waiting to be seen, but are hidden under everything else that was already pre-established. So that was the start of the subscriber count mattering less and less and less, and this doubled down when they introduced YouTube Shorts. Because short form is even more algorithmically generated. There's even less of you're following this person, you want to see this. It's pretty much completely ignored. There have been plenty of studies that have come out that basically says if you press not interested, do that sort of stuff, it won't change anything at all, because it's such a small metric on all of the other factors that they choose to show you something. Whether you say I'm not interested in it, it doesn't listen to you whatsoever. So the sub counts keep going up, and then you have maybe 1 million subscribers, but only like 10,000 views. The subscriber count is more a reflection of how long have you been doing something and how many one-off hits have you had while doing that thing. It's not an indication of recurring audience. So obviously Spotify uses more how many monthly listeners do you have? And I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube very soon moves to that metric, because once again, subscriber count is a reflection of longevity. It's not a reflection of how many people actually show up every single day. Where if they have a metric of this is how many monthly watches you have, or yearly watches, or whatever that may be, probably monthly makes more sense, that will be much more indicative of your audience and the value that you're providing to a very particular community. The only attachment that I still have to numbers is, for one, it's like a means to an end. That for one, the more the numbers go up, hopefully the more value that you're delivering to people around the world. But additionally, it's a means to being able to work this full time without having to worry about getting other jobs. That you can still freelance if you want, or you still can work if you want, but you don't have to. You have the option to spend your full-time energy producing these and eventually build some sort of production facility that can keep producing more content at a higher level and continuing to produce more and more value. So it's not about my personal mental health of numbers go up, I'm happy, but it's more, okay, can this get moving so I can finally make this a full-time business in a way. Additionally, the second part to that is it can be slightly disheartening in some points, not because the views are down, but because I've had so many sparks of things working around. I've had videos go ultra viral, like massively viral to the extent where my friends have, heard about it outside of me. I've also been recognized in some places occasionally or I've had moments working with phenomenal clients doing amazing things. But nothing has quite stuck. Nothing has quite caught into the bonfire yet. Lots of
sparks of high attention is a really interesting place to be, because you're receiving information about what's doing well. What's receiving the high attention? Why? Do you really feel like it's random? Or if you watched all of the high performing ones in order and then all of the low performing ones in order, would you find that there's something really quite different about those things?
And then you get little fireworks when your video is you do best performing of the past 10. But then all best performing is like arbitrary. Just because it gets a lot of views doesn't mean it's the most impactful. It's like when YouTube instituted A/B testing for thumbnails, right? A/B testing meaning you have two posters on a wall, which one gets more people to see your movie, right? It's existed for forever in any sort of art form as soon as there's been some sort of means to advertise. But YouTube, it took ages to produce it, and they still only have it for thumbnails and not titles, but I think they're working on that. But the point being, they don't choose the best thumbnail based on how many people click it. They choose the best thumbnail based on how long people watch the video for after they do click it. Because YouTube kind of had an era, probably about 2017, where everything went ultra clickbaity, because their metrics of success were two things: how many people clicked it and how long they watched for, which meant it really promoted high clickbait thumbnails that referred to something 18 minutes into a half an hour long video, rather than just getting to the point. Now YouTube just says, produce the best video possible, make sure people have a good time on the platform. Because yes, they may leave right after your video, finish their viewing session. But if they come back tomorrow because they had a good experience today, that's a good thing. They'll occasionally put polls out, basically say, did you have a positive experience viewing this? Because it's that positive viewer satisfaction, which is much better for longevity than just an instant shitty video that they're forced to click because it's good clickbait, and then they watch something that's really boring and really provides no value, etc. So it has been a slow shift throughout the years. But if my videos took off from day one, when I started producing stuff all those years ago, or even when I started just hammering out TikToks back in like 2019, 2020, I would not have been where I am today. I would have been much more attached to those numbers. So in a way, I think that's kind of lucky, because it's put me in a good position where that is no longer something I care about, at least for the means that a lot of people get stuck into. I'm at a point where I can look at things much more objectively. I can edit videos of myself and not see that really as the same person. I can critically look and say, oh, that looked a bit weird there. Can I change that? Can I do that? But I don't think of that as a value judgment on myself. And I don't think of a lack of view count or a high view count, once again, as a value judgment on myself and my delivery. It is a slot machine. It is a pokey. It is a slaps. You spin that wheel and 90% of it is luck. You can do the best you can produce the best video possible, but it does not guarantee viewers showing up. So to establish yourself and your value and your happiness to that is an absolute waste of time. And because I've been doing this for so long, because I've put out so many videos, luckily that has been established internally within me, and I can just critically put out stuff, enjoy the process, not stress too much about the final view count. But this does lead to a problem, because there is value in having a target, in having a goal. Because if you don't have one, what are you trying to strive for? What are you trying to produce? It can kind of make things a bit, flux left to right. What are you trying to go for here? Because if you don't know, absolutely the audience doesn't know. Then you need to know, okay, I saw this, but where is this going? Is this something that I should follow along with? So you do need some sort of metric to see, are you moving in the right direction? But that's difficult, because when a metric becomes a target, it ceases to be a good metric. If you're focusing on view count and money, then you're probably going to compromise on values, because you're going to keep producing as clickbaity stuff as possible, as shitty content as you can, and you're just going to be left holding the bag as everything else moves on, and maybe you did well short term, but it's done. Okay, do you think you're on like returning viewers? That's probably actually a good metric to go for, because if people continuously come back for the right sort of content, then you're probably producing some sort of value, because it's not one off and leave. They're like, I like this, I obtained value from this, I want to keep getting more. So that's actually probably a good metric to aim for. Once again, not money, not numbers, because that can lead you down the wrong path and potentially even avenues you don't want to do. When I've looked at opportunities of like, how do I want to make money, right? Like, what sort of jobs do I want to try and get? I can think of ways that I could really start earning money off producing content tomorrow. But I would hate it, because what's the reward of that doing well is me doing more of it. And I don't want to do more of that. I want to do more of the stuff that takes a long time to build, but hopefully brings a lot more value to me and you in the long term. But obviously that doesn't drive income straight away, and you're having to find other solutions to carry that in the meantime. So some of those options are really tempting, but I've managed to hold off because, once again, I don't want to be stuck in those circles doing those things, because I would be absolutely miserable. And so what if you're earning a shit ton of money doing a really high paying job? If you're miserable, when are you going to use that? What, okay, you get a nice little 1, maybe 2-day weekend that you can spend that cash? You may as well have just been enjoying the other 5 days in the first place. I'd much prefer to be earning a lot less doing what I actually enjoy every day than trying to constantly chase the cash in a job that I hate, I'm miserable, and I will burn out at, that I can't even use the money for. I also know that my content would do way better if I particularly focused on the drama. Oh my god, this scandal that this creator is in today, it's crazy. But I don't want to do that. I want to promote a more positive environment. And yes, occasionally I may talk about serious issues, but hopefully in a hopeful manner. That yes, things are coming down on us, but here's things that we can do to fight back to make our world a better place. Not just throwing shit on everyone, because it gets good views. People are people. So everyone has sort of good sides and bad sides to them. Things that go well, things that don't go well. I'm not going to rain down on someone that I have no connection to, that really I know nothing about, and I just ranted off one tweet that I saw. If you're doing that, you want to make sure that's a proper journalistic integrity process, that you reach out for comment, that you do adequate research and try and get a full picture here. But if you're constantly trying to be the first one to put out a statement, you are never going to get that because you have to put out a statement before all the information is out there. So once again, it's a great opportunity to get clicks and views because people buy into that drama. I think less now than they used to with the old algorithms and processes. But you would just be miserable and you'd be perpetuating a culture that I don't really want to perpetuate. We want to be happy, enjoying, and seeing some good in the world. How I really see value in the stuff that I produce is, yes, once again, returning viewership is handy, but a lot of the time it's the comments. It's friends or family members or people that I meet on the street who mention something about things that I have produced, because that is, you're seeing the real human behind it. You're seeing the real effect that it has provided to the people around you, to the people in society. You see the humanity behind it, not just an arbitrary view count, but a real person. One positive comment is way better than 1,000 views. I really hope you can't hear that washing machine right now. That is not fun, but the show must go on. But I think this clip most accurately reflects the stage that I try and pretend I'm in right now.
We can offset a lot of that once we get a few customers and start a subscription revenue model.
What? Revenue? No revenue. I'll call you back. What? Why would you go after revenue?
Because to make money?
No. If you show revenue, people will ask how much, and it will never be enough. But if you have no revenue, you can say you're pre-revenue. It's not about how much you earn. It's about what you're worth. And who's worth the most? Companies that lose money. Pinterest, Snapchat, no revenue. Amazon has lost money every fucking quarter for the last 20 fucking years, and that Bezos motherfucker is the king.
The king.
There's no revenue. No one wants to see revenue. Go.
In the end, this is going to be different for everyone, but you need to find a way that you no longer become attached to the metrics, to the outcome, and only get attached to the process. Whether this be by not looking at metrics, whether this be by turning off the numbers. There are literal Chrome extensions that you can add that hide it if you so wish. I've never needed that, but you could. Just not waking up every day and checking every second, are the numbers going up, but rather thinking, I produced a video that I'm proud of. How can I produce another one that I'm proud of that will bring value to the people around me and to the people that I see reacting with the work that I am producing? Because once you find that, it is so much harder to stop you, because the little waves that come that try and knock you off your path won't stand a chance, because you will have a core, a purpose, a direction powerful enough that will punch through any of those obstacles that would get in most people's way.